Hey guys, welcome back to Redbanditracing. Welcome back to the channel. We got the X-MAXX here. I'm going to show you guys what I broke. It landed pretty bad on the roof a couple times, and I'm actually really surprised that I stress fractured both shock towers. So we got some new shock towers, part number 7738 and 7739. Now these are both halves, front and rear. So we're going to be throwing these on. This really shouldn't be too bad, but let's jump right into it. Let me show you what happened. All right, so as you can see, there's a stretch fracture right there. There's one on this side. And if you look down in, right there. I don't think I saw any on the other side, and there is one right there. So these actually took a pretty big beating. I mean, I landed on the roof a couple times, but I am kind of surprised about that. It's gotta be the weight of the truck, because I've never done that with the Max. All right, first things first, let's go and get this opened up. Let's go ahead and open up the front. All right, so the front is going to go together like that. There is a screw, I believe, that goes in on one side to hold the top, and on the bottom, those will pinch those together. Now, this is actually mounted to the bulkhead. Yeah, to mount on the bulkhead. So to get this off, we're going to have to go ahead and remove the upper control arms, and then the braces for the bumper, the chassis brace in the back, take the shocks off on the top, and that should free it up. So let's jump right into it, and let's take care of the front first. Pop out those shocks. Now let's go and loosen that front bumper. I may put this on a tire. All right, now the reason why I'm not taking the shocks all the way off is because I have them captured, so it's a little bit quicker just to do it this way. All right, so we got that taken off. We got the front bumper removed, just to help with space. I got the side ones removed, all that chassis brace. Now let's go ahead and take off these screws that go to the chassis for the shock tire. All right, I already loosened these screws, 1, 2, 3 right here. I already loosened those because it helps to keep this plate loose. Now what I'm gonna take the top hinge pins out, which you're gonna use a 7mm wrench and a 7mm driver. And you're gonna go ahead and take these out. Got the nut, same thing the other side. Just like that, let that just kind of hang down. Should be able to pop our shock tire out. All right, there we go. Just remember this piece right here, make sure you leave it where it is because it holds in this, the steering component, so you don't want that moving around. Make sure this is nice and clean before you put it back in, and just watch out for those bearings. Don't want those moving around too much. All right, so now we got that off. Let's check this out. That's where it cracked right there. Sheared right off. Wow. Well, I hope that doesn't happen again. Hopefully this is just like a one-time thing, because I haven't seen too many people break these. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this. What we're gonna do here is there's 2 screws. Ooh, look at that. So there's a screw here on the inside. I'm glad you can't see that, but it's right here. And there's one right here. This one pulled out. As you can see, it's separated right here. It almost pulled all the way through, so we're gonna see if we can't get that out. I'm gonna take the bottom one out first. This one should be, okay. This literally, that wasn't even being held in. That one got pulled all the way through and it just came apart. You know what, guys? I think I might put a washer on the inside of this to keep that from happening again. Let's get the screw out. The screw should be long enough to put a washer behind it. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I got my washer kit right here. Let's see what we got. Maybe we can prevent this from happening again. That one will work. Let me see if I have a longer screw. Okay guys, so what I'm gonna do, I got my nifty screw kit here. If you guys wanna know where you can get this, let me know down in the comments and I'll definitely let you know where you can get that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a longer screw in. See that compared to the factory one. I'm gonna get this washer, put that washer on. It gives it a little bit more surface area. I'm gonna put that in there. That'll help keep it from pulling all the way through next time. So let's get our new one. And we got the bottom one. Now let's get the top one. Always make sure you guys make sure these are tight by hand. All right, that looks good. Look at the other side. That screw does protrude a little bit on the other end, but that doesn't affect anything. Nothing goes in there, so you don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, that's gonna work out just fine. I think that washer is gonna help a lot. I'm gonna do the same thing actually on the rear, just in case it happens on the rear. All right, let's make sure this area is clean in here. Should slide right down. All right, that looks good. So while we have this in, let's go ahead and make sure our axles are put in and put our hinge pins in. That way they're supported and they're not just hanging there anymore. I usually get them started, carefully holding them in place, and then I go to my wrench. Keep the shocks out right there. Actually, could I go ahead and put the shocks back in? Let's get this center one in. All right, that's popped it back into place. Everything looks good, so let's go and get that tightened up. Put our front bumper back on. And pop this guy back in right there. Don't forget the two that you loosened. Got a brand new shock tower, hinge pins are put in, axles are in, shocks are in, front bumper's on, brakes is on. So let's go ahead and jump to the rear. Might be a little bit different, but theoretically the same. All right, for the rear, same basic concept. Let's go ahead and take off the back bumper and wheelie bar. Pop that out like that. There we go, just like that. Now what we are gonna be doing is putting this piece in here. That's what comes with your X-MAXX if you're gonna remove the wheelie bar. We are gonna remove the wheelie bar. I think it looks better without it. Pop our pins out. Let me reposition the tire here. While we have that off, let's just go ahead and pop off the hinge pins for the control arms. Ooh, that screw is bent. Okay, got those up. You should be able to slide it right out. Just like that. Let's see what happened to this one. Right there. Look at those, look at that stress right there. This one, a little bit not as bad. Definitely on the front, right there. This thing was not gonna last. I can't believe how easy that would have broke. All right, well, let's clean this up. All right, so now we got that off. Let's go and open up our new one. All right, same thing. They connect just like that. It doesn't look like this one was pulling out like the other one. Yeah, this one doesn't look like it was pulling out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing. The bottom is more secure because of the hinge pins holding them in there, but the top isn't as secure. So I think the best course of action for this would be to go ahead and do the same thing on the front to kind of prevent this from happening in the future. I'm gonna get a longer screw for the top and keep the stock one for the bottom. Get my washer, put it in there. It doesn't take much. The washer doesn't need to be huge. It just needs to be slightly bigger than the head of the screw, and that alone will give it that a little bit more surface area, which gives it more strength. I know you guys probably watch a lot of channels and they just ugga-dugga the screws on, but I have this set usually on 1. The X-MAXX screws are a little bit bigger, so I usually put it on 2. I keep it really low because I want to be able to hand tighten them myself, because if you strip out plastic, you're pretty much done. You'll end up having to put some kind of wood screw in there to save it or replace the part, and it's not worth it. So all we gotta do is pop that back in. Again, let's go ahead and get the easy stuff done first. Let's go ahead and pop in the arms. Make sure your axles are in. Make sure that's tight. Make sure the arm is free. If the arm is free, you can go ahead and cinch it down a little bit more. You shouldn't have to go nuts on it. Actually, I forgot something, guys. I gotta take this back off. We're gonna do an axle real quick on this. Pull this back off. Let's go ahead and get this axle replaced real quick. Let's go ahead and put the shock tower back on. I'm sorry, the shock, because it's gonna make it balance a little bit easier on the bench. So what we're gonna do here is let's go ahead, take this clip off. Stick your pick, pop it off. There we go. Once that's off, you should be able to pull this out. And there's your drive cup. All right, real simple. Just pop the pin out. Make sure you can see that. Pop the pin out. Once the pin's out, axle's out. And it's real simple. There's a pin in here. Drop that pin out and you're done. So we can get the new axle. The new axle is 7750X. As you can see, there's no spring that holds this on around it, kind of like on the sledge. What holds it in is when you put it back in, it's got no place to go, just like that. So it's secure. There you go. Snap that on. Now this clip, you just have to make sure it doesn't fling off out of your sight. Just make sure it's clipped on, just like that. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty quick repair. The axles come out pretty simply, so kind of makes repairs pretty quick. Always make sure nothing's binding as you're putting it back on. And then we'll start tightening everything up. Let's get our back bumper on. Now what we gotta do is I gotta see if I can't find a screw to replace this one. I mean, they're close. It's actually the same size. It's just not it just doesn't have the right top. All right, so this one, they're the same size. It just doesn't have the right head. So it will fit in there. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and use this one, and I'm gonna have to find a replacement. All right, so that'll work until I can find a replacement to replace that screw. But everything else is in. Let's see what this thing looks like without a wheelie bar. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. Got the wheelie bar off. Looks more like a monster truck without it. So we're gonna try it without it. Hope I don't damage the body too much in the back. This thing's got a lot of power, likes to do wheelies. Everything looks good. Back up to normal, back fixed. Got the belted ones on right now. We're about to take it out in a little bit. Got some other videos coming up. I did have to re-glue the non-belted tires because they came apart. So I'm trying to save those. But we're gonna run the belted ones for a little bit, see how they do with the new gearing. And yeah, hope that was a nice explanation on how to replace the shock towers. It's actually pretty easy. Very, very simple. Put the washers in the top screw. That'll help keep it from pulling through. Hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure you guys check out our Patreon. Make sure you guys check out our Instagram channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you like this video. If you guys like these repairs, I'll keep doing them. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one.